When I say video game box, chances are you picture this. Or maybe this. Modern game boxes are nothing like their ancestors. Sure, they don't take up much space anymore, but unfortunately, the carnal desire to inhale the inside of an NES box, which is human nature for those of us who still possess our virginity with pride, doesn't exist with plastic cases. Yeah, boxes themselves are kinda disappearing. Everyone and their mother knows about the slow march from physical to digital in video games, and I am not here to rehash that. I am here to talk about cardboard. Obviously, a lot of this does have to do with digital purchases taking over the retail space. However, there's a lot more to the story than just companies don't make boxes anymore because they'd rather you have to rebuy your game every time a new console drops. Let's rewind to the golden age of cardboard game boxes. Surprisingly, not that many major consoles actually used them. Nintendo was pretty much the only big player in the home console space making their boxes out of cardboard. The NES, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo all came in sleek, glossy packaging that stood out on store shelves. Meanwhile, other companies, like Sega and Sony, leaned towards plastic clamshells or CD jewel cases. There were exceptions, like the Commodore 64, that did make cardboard boxes, but Nintendo was really the main company keeping the non-plastic tradition alive. And that's one of the reasons why these boxes are so iconic now. Thanks to the availability heuristic, aka we see them a lot in retro game collections, so our brains assume they were everywhere, people think they were the industry standard. But they really weren't. Cardboard isn't cheap at all compared to plastic, at least not when you're using the glossy, high-quality kind that Nintendo did. It was also way more fragile, meaning a lot of these boxes were destroyed the moment someone opened them. But Nintendo was pushing for a premium feel. They had the seal of quality, quality control, and quality packaging. The glossy cardboard has a unique tactile sensation and contributes in often underappreciated ways to the overall experience of buying and owning a Nintendo game. It makes sense, given that Nintendo's origins were in making high-quality playing cards and toys. They knew how to manufacture a product where packaging was part of the appeal. Which is kind of ironic, because everyone threw them away. Unlike plastic cases that make you feel like you should probably keep them, cardboard boxes scream "recycle me." The fact that they also have a recycle symbol literally printed on the box doesn't do them any favors. Cardboard really isn't that good at actually protecting games. They're hard to open without creasing or tearing the boxes, and since cartridges are already compact and easy to stack, ditching the box makes sense. So while Nintendo's boxes looked really nice on store shelves, they had a pretty short lifespan in most households. Now I'm going to talk about something I almost never cover: computer games. Big box PC games played a massive part in the cardboard ecosystem of the time, even though the game-to-box ratio could not have been any larger. However, these massive boxes always contained a lot more than just a little floppy disk. They were going all in on making the purchase feel special. Quake, Half-Life, and StarCraft, to name a tiny few, came loaded with extras: maps, art books, thick manuals that doubled as mini strategy guides. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy came with peril-sensitive sunglasses. That is to say that these were specifically marketed as collectibles. PC game publishers knew that bigger boxes meant taking up more real estate on a shelf. Yeah, but they also knew that the best way to market a game, outside of having a game that's actually good, is to make it a collectible. Back on the console side, Nintendo was single-handedly keeping the cardboard train rolling well into the late 90s, but the quality of their boxes had started to change. The NES and Super Nintendo boxes had a premium feel, but by the time the N64 and Game Boy Color came out, things had gotten cheaper. Most of these older boxes were around 83% recyclable, but some N64, Game Boy Color, and GBA boxes were 100% recyclable, meaning they came with built-in cartridge holders. Sure, they were environmentally friendly, but they also made for flimsier boxes that weren't all that luxurious. They got dented or crushed way easier and feel a lot more grainy. Just remember, folks, you can never have something that's both good for the environment and also looks good. Things really started to take a turn when even Nintendo moved from cartridges to discs. The GameCube was their first home console to ditch cardboard entirely, and the DS was their first handheld. With that, the era of cardboard boxes quietly faded away, now only making the occasional appearance with a collector's edition or a controller bundle. PC games were on a similar trajectory, but for much different reasons. By 2003, digital storefronts like Steam were making physical releases less relevant. Once people could buy games with a click instead of a trip to the store, there wasn't much reason to invest in massive, elaborate boxes. So while collector's editions did keep the cardboard, gone were the days of game shelves stocked with massive PC big boxes from top to bottom. They were now competing for eye appeal on a digital shelf, in a digital world. Digital style. Cardboard shaped the experience of buying and owning a game in ways that are seldom thought about today. Holding a game box literally felt special. The glossy texture, the way it reflected light on store shelves, the heft of a fully intact package, this all contributed to the sense that you were getting something substantial. That's what makes the transition to plastic so interesting. It wasn't just about durability or cost cutting, but a quiet acknowledgement that people didn't actually use game boxes the way companies once imagined. A plastic case could be tossed in a backpack without worry, stacked neatly on a shelf, and didn't need to be treated like a collectible to stay intact. It fit better into the way people actually lived with their games. This shift reflected a realization that had overtaken the need for premium presentation. And yet, while cardboard faded from game boxes, it never truly disappeared. It just evolved. Special editions have kept the idea of collectible packaging alive, but in a way that acknowledges its true role, something that's meant to be displayed. Don't worry though, Nintendo did not let the cardboard industry die. We used to get cardboard around our video games, now we get cardboard as the game. Truly the final evolution of cardboard. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And you know what? If you're still here, I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because you probably already are subscribed, because no one watches the outros to my videos. But you have earned a spot in my premium club. You're here. Now we can start a parasocial relationship. Ask me a question and I'll answer it. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, bye.